Good morning. I'm Olga Ospina. It is going to be another hot one today. I'm in front of Loma Linda Hospital. This is where a Boy Scout was brought yesterday, suffering from extreme dehydration. We'll have more on that coming up.
The big story in Southern California on this Sunday morning is the unseasonal spring heat. Did you feel it this morning? The soaring temperatures spelled trouble for some Boy Scouts hiking in the San Bernardino Mountains, and KTLA's Olga Ospina has the very latest. Hi, Olga. What can you tell us?
Good morning. Yeah, it got really hot out there in the San Bernardino National Forest. Yesterday was over 100 degrees, and it got so bad that some Boy Scouts that were out there with some of the scout leaders, they were in the middle of a 10-mile hike, and some of them got extremely dehydrated. One of them so bad he was brought here to Loma Linda Medical Center. This all happened about 3:30 yesterday afternoon. The scouts and the scout leaders were in the middle of a 10-mile hike, and 11-year-old Nathan Smith, he was extremely dehydrated. San Bernardino City Fire was called out to help. The rescue operation took several hours due to the terrain and the thick brush. Fortunately, one of the scouts did have GPS. They were able to give rescuers their whereabouts, and that certainly helped facilitate the rescue.
Got overgrown, and they found themselves in Manzanita over their head and got to a point where they weren't able to get a good orientation of where they were. And it was because of the preparedness of one scout who was able to give a GPS position, and actually with that position and then with this compass take a bearing of where they left the three who needed help, report in those coordinates so that search and rescue could easily find their position.
So Nathan Smith, he was brought here to Loma Linda. He got flown in by helicopter there, as you saw. He said it was an interesting ride, but he certainly has had better days. That heat, by the way, it is going to stick around today. If you're heading out to the KTLA Music Festival, well, it was 105 degrees in Palm Springs yesterday, so it's going to be another hot one today, so be prepared for that. That's the latest from Loma Linda. I'm Olga Ospina, KTLA 5 News.
105 in the shade. Thanks so much, Olga.
Franco.
Good morning. I'm Olga Ospina. The heat definitely taking its toll. A mountain biker dies in Palm Springs due to the heat. Also, a Boy Scout has to be rescued. We'll have more on all of these issues coming up. Good morning. I'm Olga Ospina. The heat taking its toll on Southern California. A mountain biker is dead, and a Boy Scout has to be rescued from the San Bernardino National Forest. I'll have more on that coming up.
Big story in Southern California today, the one that everyone is talking about on Earth Day, is this unseasonal spring heat. The soaring temperatures spelled some trouble for some Boy Scouts who were hiking in the San Bernardino Mountains. They were caught a little unprepared. KTLA's Olga Ospina has the very latest. It sounds like these Boy Scouts thought, hey, it's going to be a nice spring day, and they got into some pretty serious summer temperatures.
You know, it can be a little deceiving because if you're out there by the coast, you see all this gloom, and it is a lot cooler than it is in other areas. But the San Bernardino National Forest, it got up to over 100 degrees yesterday. So it was extremely hot, and some Boy Scouts, well, they were unfortunately caught up in that heat, and several of them got exhausted. One of them was so bad that he suffered from extreme heat exhaustion. He was brought here to Loma Linda University Medical Center, and it happened yesterday afternoon. The Boy Scouts and the leaders were in the middle of a 10-mile hike, and 11-year-old Nathan Smith, he was the one that was worse off. He was extremely dehydrated. He was rescued by San Bernardino City Fire. The rescue operation took several hours due to the terrain and the thick brush. Several boys, including Nathan, he was in the worst condition. They were rescued by helicopter.
A young scout that had heat exhaustion. One of the adult leaders and his dad stayed with them, so they were a group of 3, and then we had another 2 dads and 7 scouts continue on down.
Now, just yesterday also, that extreme heat in Palm Springs, we're talking about KTLA being 105 degrees. A mountain biker there, he was on a trail riding his bike. He became dehydrated and collapsed. The paramedics were called out, but unfortunately, he died on scene. Again, we're expecting some heat in some areas again today, so if you are out there, definitely be careful. That's the latest from Loma Linda. I'm Olga Ospina, KTLA 5 News.
Thank you so much, Olga.
I'm Olga Ospina, extreme heat taking over parts of Southern California. A mountain biker is dead and a Boy Scout was rescued. He had to be brought here to Loma Linda University Medical Center. We'll have more on that coming up.
Suffered through yesterday, and thank goodness we're going to get a little break today here. The unseasonal spring heat, about 6 degrees above normal and more than that in some spots. We had some trouble. Some Boy Scouts hiking in the San Bernardino Mountains ran into some serious trouble, ended up in the hospital. KTLA 5's Olga Ospina live now with an update. Good morning, Olga.
Good morning, Chris. Yeah, you know, it ended up being a lot warmer yesterday than a lot of people anticipated. So much so that there was a troop of Boy Scouts that were out in the San Bernardino National Forest. They were hiking, and in the middle of it, several of the boys started feeling very uncomfortable. One of the boys actually got extremely dehydrated, and he was brought here to Loma Linda University Medical Center. He's being treated for heat exhaustion. It all happened about 3:30 yesterday afternoon. The scouts and the leaders, they were in the middle of a 10-mile hike, and 11-year-old Nathan Smith, he was extremely dehydrated. San Bernardino City Fire was called out to help. That rescue operation took several hours due to the terrain and the thick brush. Now, fortunately, one of the scouts had GPS. They were able to give rescuers directions and their whereabouts. That helped out and helped facilitate the rescue. So several of the boys, including Nathan, were rescued by helicopter.
The trail.
Also yesterday, it was 105 degrees in Palm Springs, and also a mountain biker who was riding in one of the trails there. He became dehydrated. He collapsed. Paramedics were called out, and he was actually pronounced dead at scene. So again, another hot one expected today. Coachella wrapping up in Palm Springs today. So if you're heading out there or anywhere else where it may be extremely hot, definitely be prepared. Lots of water. That's the latest from Loma Linda. I'm Olga Ospina, KTLA 5 News.
Olga, thank you for the update. Appreciate it there.